Hi, and welcome to the Get Local podcast. My name is Joanne Fowler, and I am your host. We are located today in the studio 864 Sound in Greenville, South Carolina, and we have an amazing gentleman who owns this company, Brandon Higginbotham, and Brandon really takes care of all of our podcasts each week. We are so grateful and thankful for Brandon. But today we are here in the studio with Stacy Walton from E&W Maintenance. So thank you for joining me today, Stacy.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Well, Stacy, we love to bring in local business owners so that we can kind of let our listening audience learn a little bit about you, who you are, what you do. And we also love to feature women-owned businesses. And I understand that although you have a partner, you're 51% owner. So by all rights, you are a woman-owned business.
I am. Thank you.
Well, welcome to the studio today. So tell me a little bit about E&W Maintenance.
Well, we started E&W Maintenance in Southern Virginia. That's where we're from, in 2016. We grew very well there. We are still currently running an office there. But we had a client that bought a property, a industrial property in Spartanburg area. So he only wanted us to come down and take care of it. So we moved down for that purpose. And then we said, why not expand our business?
Wow. Okay.
So we've been expanding it here for the last 2 years. Love the people of the area. Everybody's been very kind to us and very welcoming.
Well, we got to work on your accent.
I know.
We got to get a little Southern twang going
My
over
entire
there.
life, my family has worked on getting the Southern twang out. So now we're trying to put it back in.
Trying to put it back in. So were you born and raised in the South? Or
Yes, Danville, Virginia.
Oh, okay.
On the border of North Carolina.
Yeah, I keep forgetting they do consider Virginia South.
Right. Well, we consider Southern Virginia South. Once you go to Richmond and anything north,
North.
that's Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia. Well, welcome to the South.
Thank you.
We the Southern. I mean, you're
Right.
still part of the South, right? So you've been here for about 2 years, you said?
Yes.
Okay. And your son also is an owner in the company with you,
Correct.
Now, how old is he?
He is 28.
28. That's awesome. So
Right.
you're going to carry on that legacy, hopefully, through your family.
Where our business is entirely run by family,
Oh.
and most of our employees are family as well.
That is wonderful. I hear so many times, many people say that it is very difficult to have a family-owned business, but I say the opposite. Get Local is owned by myself and my son, and then I also own a women's clothing boutique with my daughter, and both of them have just been wonderful experiences. I think we're able to put on that the mother hat when I'm being mom,
Right.
and the business hat when we're doing business, and I think if you can do that, I think family-owned businesses work well.
We always discussed it, and from about 7 a.m. until about 5 p.m., we're all employees of the business.
That's fantastic. I love
After
that.
5 p.m., then we can have the family discussions.
Oh my goodness, that's great. So there's no mom conversations going on in the middle of the day.
No.
You're going to save those till business is closed. Well, tell me a little bit. What does E&W Maintenance do? I mean, maintenance obviously, but what do y'all
Right.
do?
We do all types of residential and commercial repairs.
Okay.
Anything from roof repairs to we've done turnovers of tenancy vacancies. We've done clean outs, like someone's grandparents will pass away and they're not sure what to do with everything left in the house.
Wow.
So we'll go in and clean out the house. A lot of times they'll ask us to make repairs to the house so that they can either sell it or rent it out. We replace decks. We have also done, anything from you have a sticky door, we'll go and help fix that, maybe shave it down or replace it, whatever needs to be done with it. Lighting, we do a lot of commercial properties with like parking lot lights, lights within retail stores, replacing ceiling tiles, flooring.
So
You
are you
name it,
guys-
we can pretty much do it.
So are you guys general contractors?
We are a general contractor.
That's fantastic.
We are also we also have a separate plumbing company that's a DBA, it's ProFlow Plumbing, and we are fully licensed, insured, and bonded in both businesses.
So you can come in, if anything somebody needs done in a house, inside or outside, you can do really any
Yes.
of that, electrical, plumbing,
Yes.
construction.
Correct.
That is fantastic. So you're all in one, which is wonderful because I think so many times homeowners, they need plumbing and it's like, I need to call a plumber, and then they need electrical, and then they got to find an electrician, and then
Right.
they need a deck built, and then they got to find someone who comes out and does that. But with you guys, if they've got you on their speed dial, you can basically come out and do anything they need in the home.
Yes. If we can't do it, we know somebody who can.
That is great. So now you said all of your workers are family members. So do y'all have
The majority
subs?
of them.
Do y'all have subs underneath you, or
We use subs sometimes if we have like a job that's going to be really big. A lot of times we'll bring in subs to help coordinate with us, but we work side by side with them.
Now we had on one of our earlier shows, we had Rebecca Poteet, who is a property manager over in Spartanburg.
Yes.
And she talked about she has a lot of vendors that come in and help her with these homes that she managed. Do you work closely with property managers?
I do, and Rebecca is great to work with. We work with her, on a weekly basis. So she is fantastic to work with.
So if there's any property managers listening to the call, those are the kind of people who really should give you a call because you're a one-stop shop. They're not going to have to
Right.
have 6 people on the list. What about real estate agents?
Real estate agents are great to work with. They always have a home that maybe they're trying to sell for a client, and that home needs some minor repairs or even major repairs. And we can go in and do those so that seller can get a better price for their home.
Right. So now what about, how are you guys? Y'all been here for 2 years, and I'll tell you, I was born and raised here in South Carolina, and sometimes it's kind of hard to wiggle your way in when you're from out of town because, there's these local businesses that have been here for 100 years. And so people are using those companies. What are y'all doing to let the communities know? Because I would think even, residential, people who own their own homes need to know about y'all. How are you getting the word out?
Well, we started with some marketing as far as we tried postcards, we did a couple digital billboards, and our biggest help has been networking, like with Get Local.
Great. So that kind of gets your word out. So when you guys do y'all see homes like that are have for sale? Do y'all just call them up and say, hey, do you need any repairs on your house? Y'all doing that kind of stuff too?
We have done some cold calling like that. We've also done some, just emails especially to realtors like yourself. And we've picked up a lot of work that way.
Well, of course, being Get Local, I'm glad that the Get Local Connect group's working for you as well. But tell me a little bit, what makes you different? Obviously the fact that you do it all. I think that, I'm adding you to my list today. I just think that's amazing. But, other than that, what makes you different than these other maintenance companies that are out there?
Well, a lot of them that we found here are not licensed and insured. So that's one.
So are they doing it under the table? Is that what you're saying?
They're doing it as like a handyman type. And which, a lot of times that price is very good for a homeowner or anyone. The problem you have is if something goes wrong, then you have nothing to fall back on. You could sue them, but if they're not licensed or insured, you're not going to get anything from them.
What my mother used to say, you can't squeeze blood from a turnip.
Correct.
So if you're going after someone who's probably charging you half of what you would charge, they probably don't have any money anyway.
Right.
For you to go sue them for.
The other thing that I think sets us aside is we answer our own phones 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Wow.
If you call me on Christmas morning because all of your drains are backing up, we will come out and take care of that.
So they're not getting an answering service.
Correct. We don't use an answering service. They can't provide the customer service that we like to provide our clients with. We're very honest. We base everything on integrity. If we come out and tell you, ABC needs to be done, then this is what we have to do in order to make your home complete, your business complete, so it won't happen again. We do offer some options as far as the extremity of what we would have to do in repairs. We also offer financing.
So what does that mean? Options?
If you have, let's say we had somebody that had a broken water line in their yard. Well, they couldn't afford to replace the entire water line at the time. So we dug up the spot that was broken and we repaired that one spot. But knowing that they've already had this done a couple of times, then they really need to have the entire water line replaced.
Gotcha.
But they couldn't afford it right then. So we try to help and do what we can to keep your water going so you don't have an outrageous water bill, you don't have a muddy yard, and and until you can get the money together to replace the
Oh,
line.
that's great. And you said you offer financing. Do y'all do in-house financing, or you have a finance company you
We
work
have a
with?
finance company that we work with. They're called Green Sky. They're fairly easy to get financing through. So we have a lot of clients that will use that if we have large jobs like replacing an entire water line.
Yeah, for an emergency situation, I can definitely see that
Right.
because, for instance, I know we're in recording in September of 2024, but in April of this year, there was a lot of hailstorms that came through, and there was a lot of people who, for whatever reason, their insurance had lapsed, or they had a rental home and they just didn't have the proper insurance on it. And so I could see in that situation where someone's like, "How am I going to get this roof replaced?" or "How am I going to get this? My plumbing burst and
Right.
flooded out the whole floor. How am I going to get all this repaired if they're not, don't have the income that they need?"
Right.
So, and then if I know when we spoke to Rebecca once before, she had mentioned a home sitting there empty. So if you got a home that, you need to rent and you can't rent it or you can't live in it, that home just sitting there is going to create even additional problems.
Yeah, a sitting home actually creates more problems than putting a tenant in it because that way you're less likely to have lines burst in the winter when it gets cold because there's constantly water running through them.
Yeah.
And, when somebody's there, they pay attention to the little things.
Yeah, you notice something odd, you're going
Right.
to investigate that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, I'll be honest with you. You mentioned it earlier about the handyman, but there's this new app, or it's not new, it's been around for a while, but it's your neighborhood app. And I see a lot of those handymen post in there.
Right.
I'll come pick up your trash. I'll come, fix your porch. I'll fix your door, those kind of things. And then you also see it a lot on Facebook in the marketplace where people are offering those services as well. Do you find oftentimes that people have to hire you to come in and do cleanup? Have you seen that happen?
We have had to go back and fix things that someone else repaired. And I'm not, all handymans they're not bad. Some of them are just learning the industry, and they have to start somewhere.
Right.
But there are many that will come in and they're just trying to do a quick fix and they don't really know what they're doing, and they create a bigger problem than what you had to begin with. So you just have to kind of weed them out. But I always say, hire a professional.
Yeah, I agree. And I've seen some of those stories as well where they would say, don't hire handyman such and such, or, don't hire this person because they're kind of fly by night. They came in and started a project. I gave them money and then they didn't show up.
Right.
That's a good question, because I'm going to tell you, I hear that so many times with contractors, that a lot of times when people are calling, they're either A, not getting a phone call back. So I love the fact that you're answering your phone, but B, they don't show up.
Right.
Have you heard that a lot as well, when people, by the time they get to you, to have you come out and do the work?
I've had a lot of clients, especially in this area, that have said, we've called, A, B, and C, and everybody called and said they were coming, but nobody ever shows up.
Right.
So most of the time we offer same day service as well.
Wow.
So
that's
if
great.
you call me, then most of the time we can come out the same day, take a look at the problem. If we can't fix it right then we can schedule it to be repaired at another date.
Well, Stacy, y'all been doing this since 2016. What would you say has been one of your most challenging projects that you had in that time frame? Because y'all been doing it for a long time.
Challenging is, we thrive on challenges. We always want to find a better way to do something. The biggest challenges I think that we've had are just, making sure we get all of our state licensing done. South Carolina was relatively much simpler than Virginia was.
Wow. Okay.
So that was good. A lot of times coming out of COVID and everything, we've had problems, and still to this day, with a lot of parts being back ordered,
Wow.
not being able to keep up with the demand. So I think those really are our most challenging things that we've had, is not being able to provide the service in the time that we used to.
Wow. Yeah, because it sounds like you're really customer focused.
Right.
And so to have to say, well, we can't finish this project because we can't get this piece, or, we can't get this product, it's got to be frustrating. So what has been the most rewarding since you've owned your business for this long?
Just I think it's the day-to-day interaction that I have with all of our customers and all of our employees. All of our employees, even if they're not blood related, they're still family to us.
Yeah.
So we have a great group of people that work really hard to provide a good service.
So are you guys looking to expand even further? You're up in Virginia, now you're in South Carolina.
Right, we are working on our North Carolina right now as well.
Oh, wonderful.
And next week I take my exam for my national general contractors, so I can take
That is amazing.
anywhere.
Yeah, you could do business anywhere with
Right.
national, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. So do y'all do air conditioning too?
We do not do HVAC, but we have some great recommendations. And one of them comes from our friend Rebecca.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
so she also helps me with a lot of things with Rebecca at House to Home. She gives me great insight because she is a Spartanburg native.
So now, obviously, you probably are doing a lot of work in Spartanburg, or do you do really all over?
We go anywhere upstate. We have clients in Greenville. We do a lot of commercial. We've done several commercial jobs here for them. We've gone all the way up to the state line at North Carolina. We've even taken on a commercial client down in Charleston. So
Okay.
if anybody needs anything, then, we're willing to travel and take a look at it and see what we can do for you.
So really, you're looking for our listeners all throughout the state to give you a call, not just in that
Absolutely.
Spartanburg area.
Yes, ma'am.
That is wonderful. So what is one thing that you want to make sure our listeners know about you guys today?
The only thing I think that everybody needs to know is we're very customer focused. We want to do the work that you need done, not what we think you need done.
So call you guys.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, tell our listeners, how can they find you?
Well, they can find us on Facebook at E&W Maintenance, also at ProFlow Plumbing.
Okay.
You can call us locally at 864-753-7663. Day or night, holidays, weekends, we're always here.
Do you have a website?
We do. We have enwmaintenance.com. Well, it's ewmaintenance.com. And pro, P-R-O -flow, F-L-O, plumbing.com.
Awesome. And where's your office located?
We are located 1101 Seifert Road at Welford. It's just off of 29 and 85.
2985. All right. So they're probably not just going to show up at your location, but they could definitely give you guys a call.
Absolutely.
Or find you on Facebook. So are y'all answering Facebook pretty quick too?
We're working on Facebook. I have a new dispatcher in the office, and so I'm working on training her with everything. So right now my Facebook is lapsing a little bit, and that's my fault. But I will work on that.
Well, just the fact that you're answering calls and returning calls is pretty amazing, because I can tell you, I myself have tried to reach out to several contractors, and one of the problems they have is either you get a voicemail, and they don't call you back, or you get a voicemail and you talk to a person and they say they're going to come out and they don't,
Right.
or they come out and then they don't give you a quote.
Right.
So I figure there's a lot of people that are contractors must be really busy today.
They could be. Usually we can give you a quote immediately on site. If it's a larger job, then we may have to, it might take us a day or two to get the quote to you.
Okay. Well, I am so grateful that you came in today and talk a little bit. I love the fact that you guys do everything. So I hope that our listeners are going to reach out to you and use you for all of their maintenance needs that they may have at their home, whether it's putting up a porch, fixing a door, plumbing, electrical. You guys can do it all. And you're supporting a local family-owned business. So make sure that you guys reach out to Stacy and her son, William, for sure. Well, before I let you go, I have a question for you. I always ask the surprise question. And since you were in the studio earlier and you heard the question I asked my previous interview, I'm going to ask you a new question. So if you could be any animal in the world, what would it be and why?
I think I would have to go with a panda bear.
A panda bear.
Because
Oh,
they just play all day and eat.
I never thought about that, but I think I want to be a panda
nice.
bear.
I mean, it's that or, a cat. They live forever and they still do nothing and lay around and eat.
Right. Just play and eat and do nothing. That sounds like a wonderful a wonderful career path for us,
Right.
right? Well, Stacy, thank you so much for coming into the studio. Listen, thank you guys as our listeners for watching on YouTube or listening to us on our podcast. I hope that you will share this podcast with at least 3 people. Help us get the word out. With Get Local, we have networking groups, but we're also small business influencers. And what we want you guys to do is to hear about these local hidden gems, not only hear about them, but tell others about them and then use their services. So please follow us at getlocalsc.com on Facebook. We're available there, Instagram and TikTok. You can see us almost anywhere. And if you're a small business and you'd like to be featured, reach out to us. But man, we want to give a shout out to Brandon Higginbotham. He is the owner of 864 Sound. We're at 25 Sweetbriar Road in Greenville, South Carolina, Suite 8B9. And Brandon does original music, music production, sound design, voiceovers, podcasting, auto repair. Gosh, the list goes on and on. Look, if you have anything audio or visual needs, you guys need to reach out to Brandon. He loves small businesses and he provides some awesome pricing with a ton of experience. So thank you all for listening. Stacy, thank you for coming in today, and stay tuned for the next Get Local podcast. See you then. Bye-bye.